I chose to come to Singapore when ARI was actually becoming ARI. And so a lot of the early stories of its formation, the ideas that shaped the way it would become, I had a really wonderful opportunity to be around those discussions and be part of those conversations. So when I arrived, ARI was just transitioning from the Center for Advanced Research, which was based at Block AS7 on the Faculty of Arts and Social Science campus. We knew Professor Anthony Reid, the famous Southeast Asia historian, was coming in, but I was here about 6 months earlier in November of 2001. So I came right at that point when we were starting to look more internationally and to develop, an international profile. And ARI was very much starting to position itself with a really like a grand strategy almost to really build a reputation to be the place to do research on Asia in Asia. It's the staff, it's the administrative, the event staff, the HR folks that have made ARI what it is. And we've enjoyed coming in, being researchers, to get acclimated to Singapore and to ARI in general. But it's these folks who really made ARI happen for us and made it an exciting environment for us to do our research. It incubates, in a sense, both projects as well as future scholars. So we get scholars who are here at the very beginning of their careers, but also at mid-career and also at their very senior levels. And so that mixture, I think, is really very healthy because it allows younger scholars to learn the ropes, but it also allows older scholars to also keep up with the field as well. So it's a really exciting and vibrant type of environment for this type of professionalization. So the exciting thing about coming to ARI was the very fact that you would be working with folks who are coming in from a range of disciplinary backgrounds, area backgrounds. And so I was coming in as a historian, but also one that had a foot in anthropology, with a focus on Southeast Asia and Myanmar. But I was going to be working with folks that were China scholars, that were working on India, but also working on thematic, topics such as migration to urban studies, and these became eventually the clusters that would, in a sense, set up the structure of what it is that we do. These types of interests were already there, and for me, actually, who had been trained to look at really the states of Southeast Asia, working with folks who were interested in the movement of peoples, which also corresponds to Singapore, because a lot of people are moving in and out, was really sort of exciting for me because it was a very fresh type of literature, a fresh type of conversation that I had not really been exposed to. And so for me, working with these types of people, and I think for other scholars, was really very healthy. But not only that, we were also working with scholars that were coming from a range of institutional backgrounds, who had been trained with different intellectual traditions, and were all converging at this place we would eventually call the Asia Research Institute. I think ARI has been very much at the forefront of not only predicting the intellectual trends and streams of the way Asia and how we understand Asia develops. It's actually been instituting this and actually leading the international field. What started off as very much a regional focused type of institute evolved into actually a very different type of institute down the road. And it's been, I think, very much not just mirroring the way Asian studies has developed, but actually defining it, I think, in many ways. The focus on inter-Asian studies, for instance, that started probably about 10 to 15 years ago, that has very much pushed the field in many directions. So for scholars who might have just looked at their own particular region are now looking at different ways of organizing the way we think about Asia. We now look at trans-regional types of connections. We look at the interactions between communities. We look at the flows, ideas and goods and people and so forth. And Ari's very much been at the heart of that. The reputation of Ari to be able to convene and host international events has been developing from the beginning. And I think it was really Ari that really started this reputation in many ways, because prior to Ari, the university wasn't really bringing in large amounts of folks, foreign scholars. And this really put Singapore's Asian studies reputation on the map. Major conferences, international ones, from the AS in Asia to the International Convention of Asian Scholars, to the International Association of Historians of Asia. We held either the inaugural events or we held big events that were connected to major professional associations. And so Ari has always been associated with that, but it's also our event staff, our colleagues who are based here have contributed to this really high quality reputation. I see Ari as absolutely vital to the continuation of Asian studies in Asia. Around the region right now, universities are starting to get really interested in Asian studies and area studies, and they're not quite sure how to set up. They're not quite sure how to promote research, how to promote training, and how to promote networking. And they're looking to Ari actually as a model. And so I see Ari as playing an important role for other Asia institutes, whether it's the Koreans, or the Taiwanese, or other regionally based in Southeast Asia universities. They're looking at Ari and the types of research, the types of questions we're asking, but most importantly, how do we do what we do? That's what they're looking for. And I think Ari is going to continue to play a really important place, in the development of Asian studies, not just out in the West and out in the international world, but most importantly here in the region.